brief illness. Whoa, one sec, sorry. The, Oh, there we go. Sorry, the kilobytes per second were just kind of going all over the place. I don't quite understand why. You watch, I'll have a massive Windows update just waiting in the background, won't I? Twitch does not like it. No, Twitch does not. There we go. Right, okay. I think we're back. It's all good. It's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
We're here for the cult stuff.
Oh, but it's fine according to Grain, haha.
Well, yes, of course. We have been having some issues with our broadband provider, to be fair. I think we're supposed to be getting a call back from them at some point. I don't quite know, but yeah, thankfully, it's at least stable enough that we can stream. Which is more than can be said for myself, let's be honest. But no, yes. I have been ill. Thankfully, I'm pretty much back on the mend now. I at least speak. I'm still ridiculously tired all the time, but what else is new? This is the callback request was an accident. I mean, I heard you on the phone to them. It didn't sound like an accident. It sounded like they meant to do that, but what do I know, I guess. Oh dear, oh dear. But we have news. So, for those who might not be aware, we have I'm a total shit show, the grocery store at the moment. Oh dear, what's happening? Is it spicy? Please say it's spicy, because I kind of want to know about it. Does it involve a Karen? What's the Dutch equivalent of a Karen? Love to know what that would be. The big move from location to location is happening. Oh, right, okay. I think our dear Ember can sympathise with that, considering she had to handle pretty much entire shop refit at one point. So, fucked on to do, long days, busy days. Ooh. Oh dear, hope you're getting paid well for it though, at least. Although, at least, to be fair, I hope you're getting paid for it full stop. But yes, for those who aren't aware, or who are maybe of the uninitiated, we are hosting our big annual charity stream on the 28th of this month. And we have some pretty exciting stuff up for grabs, for prizes. That refit has moved to a new location 800 meters down the road. Okay then. I'm sure there's probably a sensible reason for that, and if there isn't, then you can just blame corporate. That's usually the case. A Dutch Karen is a Karen or Karin. Ooh, okay. So not that much different then. Good to know. But yes, I've already started the work behind the scenes and getting the Tiltify campaign up and running, so that's underway. Other exciting things. So, for those of you who are going to be around in the northeast of England area, as particular around Middlesbrough, Stockton, come the end of November, we at Vixen's Miniatures, which is the 3D print store that myself and Ember run, will have a table there, which is quite exciting. So if you want to come pop over to Battlegrounds, which is one of the biggest wargaming conventions here in the northeast of the UK, usually happens once a year in Stockton, then once a year in York. Well, we'll be at the one in Stockton this year. So please come and say hello if you're in the area, and maybe have a look at what we've got to offer. You never know, we might have some stuff you might be interested in. So yeah, we're quite excited for that. Otherwise, I think I'm pretty much just going to get straight on into it. So it's a little different from our usual Monday affair, where we're not doing a massive Mondays kind of thing. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, there's a sensible reason. Bigger store, no longer outdated hardware, better coolers, etc., etc. Looks beautiful. Ooh, okay. But I bet you'll be glad when it's over. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely reckon you'll be glad when it's over. But yes, so we are momentarily shelving. There we are. We are momentarily shelving the Massive Monday project just until Codex Space Marines comes out, because in the meantime, we're going to be working on our Salamanders all the way up until then. Annoyingly enough as well, I did kind of put together another Space Marines list that I'm actually really quite excited to give a try. I just need the models for it. But yeah, I am probably just going to wait until certain of the new Space Marine stuff goes out on release. Because I don't know, is the Captain and Terminator armor already available to buy? Let's find out. Or is that going to be one of the things that comes out shortly after the Codex? Regular days, give or take 50 hours of work. Sunday, we get 200 hours of new stuff, and all the old staff was being brought from old store to new store. So yeah, 87 personal members in the store at once. So the other 5 stars counted. Wow, okay, yeah, that's heckin' busy. Right. Space Marines. But yes, I did put together a 1,000-point list of Carcharodons, which I'm quite interested to give a go. It's almost entirely Terminators and like one squad of assault intercessors. Space Marines Lieutenant, Chaplain and Terminator armors up for pre-order. That's actually part of the Carcharodons list I've put together, so that's worth bearing in mind. I'm guessing it's not actually. I'm guessing it's not actually out yet. Because I know they released the Librarian and Terminator armor and the Terminator squad as their own separate boxes now. I'm guessing the Captain and Terminator armor's probably going to come out soon. Because that's the bit I'm looking forward to. Like I said last time, I do kind of want to kit bash together my own version of Tyberos the Red Wake. The main reason I'm kind of even remotely curious about going Carcharodons, but also I got a sneak peek at some of the stratagems for the Raven Guard themed chapter, and oh my god, just like those stratagems on a Terminator heavy army seems kind of naughty, but I love it. Anyways, painting. Let's get some painting done. I realized last time I actually forgot to do some elements in the brassy gold. In particular, there's these flames on his chest. I thought they were just going to be in, like, you know, sort of standard flame colours. They're not. They're actually sort of like a brassy gold detail on him. So but I kind of want to get everything on this model up to a certain point, because I'm going to be adding some washes to it all pretty shortly. Just because of the nature of the very fine detail on these flames, I am going to try and be as careful as possible, because I really don't want to have to redo all that green. Okay, there's a possibility I might have to redo some of the green, but I think for the most part we're going to be pretty okay. I'm also going to go into some of the lime green just for these scales here. Just going to dot those in. With the brighter green. Just to keep that idea of a rough texture there. Now we are just for that midsection of the spear, just to break things up a little bit. We'll do that in the brass as well. Now I'm just going to go into this much brighter green. Just to pick out the odd scale or two. There we are. Just like that. Just adds a little bit of depth and texture to it. Oh. Oh. Sorry, Oscar's singing the song of his people at me. Yeah, I think our internet's really badly playing up at the moment, which is not exactly helping. Now, he doesn't normally like being picked up, but the temptation to pick him up just to sort of show him off on camera is kind of strong at the moment. That's not out now, you're only coming through in 160p! Fantastic! It's exactly what I wanted. No. No. Going behind me is not a good idea. Oh, you wanna be in your box? Okay. Okay, that's fine. You can go in your box. That's okay. Oh. See if I can try and sneak him up. Ta-da! We have an Oscar. Pixel cat. Is that how bad it's coming through? Jesus. This is the rest of the stream now, and I make no apologies for it. There's 20 pixels showing us. Good God. Poor boy. Speaking of, down he goes. I don't think he was terribly impressed by that. Well, I'm just going to leave him there like that. Right. If it weren't for the fact that I'm sure he'd end up causing absolute chaos, I'd be tempted to clear a space on the shelf behind me and set up a little box there that he can just sit inside. Because as much as he wants to be in box, he also wants to be tall. But he has a nasty habit of just knocking all the models off the shelves. Which is why he's not really allowed in here. But at the same time, I can't say no to that adorable little face of his. Then again, if it weren't for the fact that I gave Ember my spare webcam, now that we're using my phone as my main camera for the above head stuff, I'd be tempted. Oh, he's just a big yawn. I'd be tempted to set up a little cat cam down here. Carefully does it, just trying to neaten up some of this gold. think that's probably as good as that's gonna get. But to be honest with you, it doesn't look too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Right. Again, I kind of want everything to about the same point, so I'm going to move to a slightly bigger brush, and I'll work on some of the other details. Last few metallics to do, which are pretty much going to be done in like a silver kind of colour. So we'll get some gunmetal. I'm just going to start by going over the Prometheum tanks for the flame gauntlet there. Then we'll do the haft of the spear. Seems like everything's stabilized now. But I can also hear Ember in the other room trying to sort things out with our broadband provider. Sounds like it's going about as well as you could possibly expect. I'll say this much, I don't know if they're a company that have made it outside of the northeast of the UK, but there's a broadband company that we use called Grain. Avoid them like the plague. We've had nothing but issues with them. And because they're such a small company, their customer service department is practically non-existent. So it makes it really bloody hard to actually get in touch with them whenever something goes wrong. Okay, we'll just do these coils on the powered element of the spear and the gunmetal as well. Also do this pommel at the bottom. Now we've got the Drake logo just here. Round the front of the spear to do. The actual blade itself and this tubing I'm going to do in black just to start with. There we go. And then we've got the iron halo to do. That also has the salamander's chapter symbol there in the center of it. Just going to start that off in the gunmetal for now. We'll probably come back and do the vast majority of that in black. So this just gives it a slight metallic hint to it. Found a problem, I'd connect your phone to PC's network hotspot in case. Right, okay. There we go. Right. Now for the last few little details. I'll just reactivate some of the paint that's already out here. So we'll use this terracotta. And this is going to be the start of all the Drake skin scales. Do they need me to not be using the internet right now there, Ember? In order to fix whatever the heck's gone wrong? Because if needs be, then we'll just call the stream early. We might try again later tonight. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna keep pushing. There we are, just carefully as we go, just trying to catch the undersides, those details. There we are, carefully does it. And this is mostly just to reduce the amount of cleanup we might have to do with this. Right, now here's where things get a little interesting. I think what I'm gonna want to do is go for a slightly... I don't quite know whether or not to go for like a khaki colour or sort of an off green for the back of the cloak, because I want to get some of the elements of the white in there for like that really cool design at the bottom of his cloak, like you can see on the screen. Like, it's gonna be hard to really do much of it on the inside, so I kind of want to compensate by doing some of it on the outside as well. Oh yes, I think we'll go for dead flesh. This sort of puke green colour. And what we'll do is we'll work this in and around the vast majority of the cloak, but where you see like the spikes and the bigger patches of scales, we'll do those in the brownish red. There we go. And I actually think this looks quite good so far. Especially considering the Drake that Vulkan killed to make this cloak is like, it actually has a name and everything, so it's meant to be kind of this big, tough, vicious beastie. It does kind of make a weird sense. It does make a weird amount of sense that it would look a little different from the rest of the drakes. There we go. Okay, I feel pretty happy with that and how that's turned out so far. So I think what we'll do is we'll go over... How's that holding up now? It seems okay for now. Like, we've had a couple of drops in and out, but... It seems okay. It's hard to tell, really. We might just have to keep our eyes on it. How's it looking on your end? He's changed some stuff and he's got it being monitored by himself for the next few hours. He's just running 6E rather than 5E, as their equipment is the most backwards compatible, which can be my next task, I guess. 6E? 6E versus 5E. Oh, I don't... Am I missing something? Cable types. Oh, right. For the Ethernet cables. Oh, fair. I didn't realise we weren't running Cat 6 Ethernet cables. From down to up, apparently we are saturated. Okay. Is that because I'm in the middle of streaming? I wonder. So new cable about 50 quid. Oof. Is it my fault? Am I hogging all the internet? It's okay to say yes. Plus the fittings, etc. Oof. Yay! More unexpected expenses. Just what we needed. No, because should still be able to handle 200 megabytes a second. Ah, fair enough then. As long as it's not my fault, that's all I'm bothered about. Just if we go 6E, get 10 gigabytes a second. Ooh, okay, good to know. Sounds like it's something worth doing anyway then. Like that sounds like an investment worth making. Oh, gigabits, not gigabytes. Alright. Hey, I don't profess to know what I'm talking about when it comes to tech stuff. Ten gigabytes a second, gigabits a second equals 1.25 gigabytes a second. Alright, okay. So for 500 megabytes a second, need minimum 4 gigabits. Right, okay. That makes sense. I mean, that's not a bad thing, especially if it means faster downloads. I'm definitely game for this. Plus multiple devices, network devices, etc., all taking up stuff. Yeah, makes sense. No, let's face it. We have a lot connected in this house. Right, okay, so far, so good. I think we're just about at that point where we can probably go ahead and get some washers down. But I think just before I do, we'll use the same terracotta colour just for now for the gun holster. Right. What I'll do now is I'll get myself a Wells palette. And we'll start laying out our washes. So I am thinking some Athonian Camel Shade. I'm thinking some Null Oil. And I would say some Agrax Earthshade, but I appear to be missing it. Like, what? Where's all my agrax gone? That's weird. One moment. That's really, really weird. Somehow that's gone missing when I was doing the painting classes. So that shouldn't be up there, that should be down here. Oh well. If push comes to shove, I do still have some Army Painter Strong Tone. It's not quite the same stuff, but it'll do in a pinch. I might have to buy some more. Right. Oh, okay. Apparently it doesn't like me doing that, so there we go. Very odd. Right. We'll start off with our Athonian camo shade. We're just going to paint that in and around of what's going to be like the creamy white parts of the cloak there. go. And into some Agrax. All over the Drake scales, but also all over this chain as well. Just on the back there. And if these two washes mix together, theoretically it shouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, it wouldn't literally be the end of the world, but it shouldn't actually ruin the paint scheme that much. And just all over that holster. And then all over these Drake scales. Round the shoulders. And we'll aim to get this all over those metallics as well. And carefully does it whilst we're getting close to where the green sits. And we'll just soak up any excess as well. So you don't want nor need it to pool too much. go into the null oil. We'll hit anything. Anything that needs it, which is pretty much all of this gunmetal. Just having to keep in £73 to upgrade house wiring. Oof. That's going to be one heck of an investment. It's cheap for full house networking. Fair enough. I'll take your word for it. Right, almost there. Just gotta finish up all this gold. We've also got the trim on this shoulder pad here to do. Right. Whilst that's drying. So hungry, waiting as long as I can for my toast allowance. Ah, yes, for your operation in the morning. Yep, whilst we're waiting for all that, we can also get these Infernus Marines up to about the same point, so null oil across the entirety of the gun. I think Oscar's decided he's had enough of being around me at the moment. There we go. Let's see, we've got a bit of corrective work to do on this one. There we go. One thing I probably should have done whilst I was at it is the scabbard for the combat knife here. There we go. Oh, whilst I'm here and whilst I've got it, may as well finish off any areas that need to be painted in black. So that's like the little gaps between the armor panels. There we are. Try my best to be careful with the green. I don't want to have to spend forever correcting that, and it's going to be much harder on these models anyway, because the green was done with an airbrush on these as opposed to by hand. Like, I'm probably going to have to go in and do a bunch of corrective work on all that green anyway. That's something that I've kind of accepted. But at least with the Infernus Marines, I don't want to have to do it right away. And honestly, this is one of the only things I don't like about painting Space Marines, is trying to do all this detail. It's very fussy. It's a very fussy process. I think I'm pretty much done with the others in this squad. Yeah, looks like it. One thing I can do is just underneath the chest here, above the belt. There we are. We'll just soak some of that up, just so it's not quite so extreme. There we go. And that gets all of them up to the same point. And looking at that, that's all nice and dry. So let's go over all the gold first. just because it gets that out the way, and that way if we do have to do any corrections to the green, now's the time to do it. So we'll get some glorious gold. On a nice fine point on this brush. Just so we can pick out these details much better. And this is about as much as we'll do in terms of like a highlight to any of this gold. Just gives it that right amount of vibrancy. Again, we'll treat the highlighting as if we did on the green, on the non-metallic green. So we'll just be very selective about it, about where those highlights fall. And for the most part, I want to try and line those highlights up as best we can. And just very lightly highlighting that as we go. And not to forget the little symbol on the front of the helmet there. And then we'll quickly just catch the edges of the crest on the helmet. Again, just mostly trying to keep at least some of that. Some of that brown shaded brassy colour showing underneath. Just that way the highlights aren't so in your face and it looks a bit more like kind of a warm, well polished brass as opposed to just a straight up gold. Right, and then we'll go into some chainmail silver. And this will be our highlight colour for the rest of the metallics. So that'll be for things like the little Drake symbol here on the spear. And just along the iron halo as well. We'll just catch the edges and outline of the chapter symbol in the middle there. And last but by no means least, we'll do the little tanks there on the flame gauntlet. Hi Roxy, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream, I hope you're doing well. Right, with that done, We can go back into our black. Mix that up a little bit. We can start on any details that are going to need it. So that's the shoulder pads. At least for the most part. Doing good. I'm 33 now. Oh, happy birthday. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good birthday. Doing anything special for it? Besides getting older, of course. Not much you can do about that. Birthday was yesterday. Ah, right. Well, happy belated birthday then. Now rephrase my question. Did you do anything nice for it? Well, yeah, closer to fighting God. Exactly. Didn't do anything, a very boring person. I don't believe that for 1 second. In that, I don't believe you're a very boring person. But fair enough. I have to admit, I have literally zero plans for my birthday next year. I'm like, no friends of my vicinity poses an issue. Oh dear. Sorry to hear that. Not one for doing any kind of online hangouts or anything like that? Don't get out much. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'm quite sorry to hear that. Wish I could help change that for you, but being like an entire ocean away doesn't help. Sleep, work, pets, repeat. I mean, at least you get pets. At least the pets are all pets are there, because you know that's important. Oceans are indeed a bitch. And the less said for the things that hide beneath them, the better. I'm very much the epitome of that whole meme of by when I say I love the ocean, I mean I love the surface. What goes on underneath it is none of my business. This is a little like trying to reverse engineer my Flesh Tearers colour scheme, which I will say is so much easier when you have everything painted in black first, and then you can just do the red over the top and neaten up as you go. Trying to paint black over the top of something that's already painted in your main colour, and trying not to make it look like a total mess, that's a little trickier. Even though I love water in the ocean, maybe it's just in my DNA. No, I totally get it. I say I grew up by the sea as well, so I absolutely adore it too. It's one of the things I do miss about where I'm living at the moment is I'm not as close to the beach as I used to be, and that does make me sad. Like, this is the first summer in years that I haven't spent almost every day at the beach. It's weird being able to say that. Carefully does. We'll also do this knee pad here with the skull on it. We'll do that in black. There we are, just like that. There we go. And we'll do the blade of the spear for now in black, but we'll probably come back to it later to finish off the rest of the colours of it. Get that flame-like glow to it. There we go. Now, I know we just spent a bit of time doing the halo in silver, but if we start off in black and then come back to the silver later, then that gives us something to work with. This is looking pretty good so far. Not gonna lie, I think I'm doing a pretty damn good job with it. Right. Very carefully, we'll just do the inside. Of the crest on his helmet there. Just like so. And there we are. We are definitely going somewhere. Doing a fantastic job. Looks brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we might need to go over some of that black with a second coat, but for now, what we can do is we can make a good start on the cloak. Been on a hobby rut. I'm sorry to hear that. I think I'm just kind of embracing the chaos that I'm in at the moment, which is, yeah. I can't seem to focus on any one particular faction, and normally that would get me down, but I'm just kind of enjoying being able to Just paint lots of different things. I have to finish painting like 100 Napoleonic Bavarians. Oh, right. Wasn't aware you were into historical wargaming. That's pretty cool. Freely admit it's not something I've given a massive deal of thought to myself, to be honest with you. They're proper dapper looking fellows. Oh, that's awesome. If you've got any pics to share, please feel free to do so. I'm pretty stereotypical myself when it comes to that sort of thing. If I were to go into it, I'd probably do pretty typical British soldiers. But that's also largely in part because I'm a huge fan of Sharp's War. Good old Sean Bean. Before he decided getting killed in almost every role he was in is clearly where his career is destined. I find that period super interesting because the style of warfare is just psychotic, standing in a field taking turns shooting at each other. 95th Rifles, yes. Maybe we're talking about the same period of, roughly about the same period of time where warfare was starting to become a bit more mechanized, and a lot of people, a lot of nations weren't really quite equipped to deal with that. And when you first, the amount of times Sean Bean says bastard, French bastard. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm only like a stone's throw away from where he was actually from. And I can confirm the accent is very much like that. Take a shot for every bastard. Considering how much of Sharp's War there was as well, like, Jesus. Death comes swiftly. It would. It really would if he were to play that particular drinking game. Two episodes, maybe. Is that how long before you end up in hospital with alcohol poisoning? Right, go into some gory red. For doing the red parts of the scales. First episode, you're on the floor. Oh, guaranteed. What doesn't help as well is how long the episodes are. Definitely from that period of British television where they just didn't F around, and most episodes of TV were, especially of stuff of that nature, were akin to short films. It was a great show. Apparently it's nothing like the books, but I've never really read the books. Unlurking, how goes it? Hi, November. It's going well, actually. Got our internet issues sorted out, so it's pretty smooth sailing from this point onwards, and we're making some pretty good progress, I think. Ended up working as a spell mentoring, everyone had to clean that up, then sit stewing in anger for a bit. Ooh. Yikes, hope you didn't end up damaging anything by doing that. No, someone had pretty much ruined their entire keyboard by doing that. No work damage, no, or I'll still be steaming. I can't say I blame you, like. Oof. Well, I'm glad you managed to get that sorted out in the end. Right. Do you think we might be able to make a start and getting some of those flame effects? Just up the edge of that spear. Especially I had 80 hours of D&D terrain and stuff on my desk when it happened. Oh dear, that is a lucky escape. I think we can probably take this a little bit further up towards the tip. There we go. I'm really happy with how that's turning out. It has been a lot of work in this room last week and a bit. A lot of NPCs, monsters, and PC minis. Ooh. Is this for your own D&D stuff, or is this like a commission or something? Yeah, get those eye lenses in. And we'll come back to that later, I think. No, I'm not taking commissions yet. I'm also switched to being a D&D creator for the moment. Ooh, cool. Love it. Oh, wow, I'm glad to hear that's working out quite nicely for you. Come sleep some mountainside. You last got to hang out, so it's been nice applying it all at a breakneck pace. Oh, brilliant. I'm really glad to hear that. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Ooh, completely forgot Completely forgot to do the inside of the gauntlet here. That's it. It's all good. Have some pics in your Discord, because why not? Been a while. Brilliant. We'll probably have a look at those on Wednesday when we do Whip Wednesday. So thank you very much. Genuinely greatly appreciate it. Be fantastic to have a look. There we go. And what we'll do, we'll get some pale sand out in a moment. And we'll use that to do some more work on the cloak. There we go. So there we go. We'll just stipple this in place just to keep that very rough scaled texture. we'll do is we'll try and take this up to close to white if we can. It just gives it that slightly more personal touch and brings it closer to the cloak as shown up above. Oof, damn it. See if I can try and get that out whilst I'm quick. I'm gonna have to deal with that later. Okay, right. Feel pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. We need to thin that down a little bit more. I don't want the details on this logo here to get completely and totally obscured. So wait for that to fully dry before we can finish off the detail on it. And rather than waste paint, what we'll do is we'll mix a little bit of that pale sand in with the black just to get a little bit of highlighting on like those cables there. And just on these little areas on the power pack as well. Just being very careful. Just being very careful so that way the black doesn't end up reading as grey instead. We'll stipple a bit of this in place, just into that chapter symbol, like so. There we go. And just to keep that things pretty consistent in terms of how we're highlighting stuff, we'll do is we'll add a bit of the pale sand into the red, and we'll chuck in some more of that terracotta there, so you get this kind of dusty pink colour, and that'll make a great highlight colour for all the red scales. Just treating it a little bit like a spot highlight. And on these bigger areas of scales, again, we'll just very lightly stipple it in place, so it just adds a bit of extra depth and texture to those areas. I'm pretty happy with that. And just go into a little bit of pale sand. And we'll just add this as little spot highlights very selectively. Very selectively across some of those scales there. There we go. And just to keep things nice and simple, for the sake of this holster here, just a little bit of pale sand mixed in with some of the terracotta that we used as the base colour. Just applying in a bit of a stippling / smushing motion. There we are, just to give it kind of the impression of a little bit of depth there. And I'll take some of this yellow that I've got on my palette, mix it with a little bit of the red. And we'll just very carefully work this into those eye lenses. We'll use that same little mixture there. Just for the flame effect running up the sword. Sorry, spear even. And we'll use the very liquidy nature of it to create a good sort of glaze for the flames around that halo. Create a sort of more of an orangey kind of filter to it, where we can still keep a lot of that dark red showing at just the very barest tips of the flames. Millennium yourself there, Ember. Right, I'll take a little bit of titanium white. And this is going to be for our absolute brightest. Damn, now we want energy drink. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know the feeling, definitely. Right, we'll use this for the brightest parts of the cloak here. Thinking of grabbing beans on toast. Go for it if you're okay to have that, considering you need to keep your meals pretty light at the moment. I'm not gonna try and overdo that salamander logo on the wrist there. So I suspect it'll just go badly wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it. I'm probably just going to have the rest of my leftovers. Maybe even a bag of crisps or something. Now, this may seem slightly mad, but I promise there is method to my madness here. Just being very careful not to overdo it. So that way all that stays pretty close to the center. Just feather some of that away. So it's not quite so extreme. Do the same on the other side as well. Oh, dang, we might have let that dry a bit too much. That's fine, we can just go back into some of our orange. And we'll do the same on this side because we need to build that orange up a little bit anyway. Just to make it a bit more vibrant. And what we'll do with the flames around the halo there is we'll just run this white into the recesses. Just like so. We'll do the same on this side as well. Don't mind me, just absolutely cocking up these eyes. Hey, at least it shouldn't be too difficult to fix that. Right. And now we just need some Bad Moon Yellow contrast. We'll thin that down with a drop of contrast medium. Make it 2 drops actually. Do a 2-to-1 ratio of contrast paint to medium, so that way it ends up nice and translucent. then just over the top. The whole area. We'll do the same as well with the iron halo there. And then we'll mix a little bit of the Bad Moon Yellow contrast mixture in with some some of the red, so we end up with more like an orangey kind of colour. And we'll just glaze that over the top of everywhere we've just been working on, just to soften that yellow somewhat. It blends in a little bit with the yellow that's there. Makes it look a little bit more like a warming kind of flame. And we'll do the same with the tip of the spear as well. Gives that sort of like idea that the fire is sort of glowing from within it. Just knock some of the brightness out of that yellow. And right now there's not really a massive amount that can be done with it until it dries. So that being the case, what we'll do is we'll just leave it there for now. I think next time we'll try our best to freehand in the details on the cloak and hopefully not screw it up. One last little thing I want to do though before I finish up. Just going to go into some of the chainmail silver, thin it down and take most of it off the brush. And we're just going to stipple it in and around the edges. Of the chapter symbol in the middle of the iron halo there. Just helps give it kind of the look that it's been blackened with soot. And just carefully, because the contrast paint is still kind of wet on the spear tip, we'll also do the same just around the very tip of the spear there. Again, just sort of stippling it in place. So it's got a bit kind of like a charred texture to it. And there we are. And we'll finish off the last few details on him next time. But for the most part, I feel pretty happy with how this has turned out. Right. Oh. But yeah, I'm overall really happy with that and how that's turning out. It looks fantastic. Right, so big thank you to everyone who's joined me today. Big thank you to Nash and Ember for the resubs. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you all for bearing with me, especially with the issues that we were having with the internet earlier. Right, okay, there's an ad break going on in the middle, going on at the moment, so we'll wait for that to finish up. Right, it's showing there's only one person viewing at the moment, so probably not gonna... So probably not going to raid anybody, I don't think. But let's see. Let's see who's actually online at the moment. Ooh. We've got Elsie Blue Hobbies, who's working on some very bright and colourful Tyranids. So I'll start the raid over in their general direction, but it depends on if we actually end up with more than 1 or 2 people going into the raid. Because if we don't, then there's no point, and I'll just end the stream there. Nah. Okay. Never mind. In which case, I will be back on Wednesday afternoon for a Whip Wednesday stream, and also for a video game stream where we'll be playing some more Ravenous Devils. So join me then, and I will see you all next time. Bye!